Jake Paul's California mansion has been raided by the FBI, multiple news organizations report. You can see in this aerial footage agents in uniform outside his home in Calabasas.
You know what's funny about your brother? Your brother talks more shit than anybody else on the planet. They're trying to sue people when people talk shit. There's people out there saying they're fake fights, they're fixed.
You know, for me, in my opinion, I think it's scripted a little bit because, you know, of the weight difference, and, you know, Joshua is a former, you know, champion. And also, you know, he's current, he's active.
That was not a boxing match. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this contest. And then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again.
Once again, Jake Paul finds himself at the center of a storm that could mark the end of the controversial YouTuber turned boxer's career. Fresh accusations that Paul allegedly scripted his high-profile fights, including the blockbuster Netflix bout against Anthony Joshua, have exploded online with some corners of social media, even claiming he and his brother reportedly faced arrest over these alleged schemes. While promoters and officials have emphatically denied that professional fights can be prearranged without legal consequences, the skepticism around Paul's legitimacy in the ring has reached a fever pitch. It's a dramatic twist for a figure whose past legal scrapes already include an FBI raid on his Calabasas mansion. Now, as allegations swirl and his boxing credibility is questioned like never before, many are asking, is this really the end of Jake Paul's meteoric rise?
FBI agents have raided the Southern California home of YouTube star Jake Paul. Federal officials say the search was part of an investigation. Wendy Birch is in Calabasas with what we're learning tonight.
Sky 5 was overhead this morning as federal agents entered Jake Paul's Calabasas home located in this gated community off of Mulholland Highway. We counted close to 24 federal agents, some of them in tactical gear, entering the residence. Why they were here and what they were looking for, that remains unclear. The federal search warrant has been sealed and no one is off.
Multiple boxing analysts, former fighters, and promoters have questioned the credibility of Jake Paul's fights for years, long before the latest arrest rumors ever surfaced. From carefully selected opponents past their prime to unusual fight pacing, late knockdowns, and contracts rumored to include restrictive clauses, critics argue that Paul's rise has felt more manufactured than earned.
I've always been curious about this because, like, you know, you saw the Askren fight. We saw these fights that he went into. The Fury one obviously didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, just because I was so convinced that, like, Jake had these fights fixed. And there's a lot of people who talk about the fights being fixed because it's just the way it is.
Yeah, they tell me that too. They're like, tell me you're not going to take a fall against Paul. Everybody says that to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? You could have paid me all the money in the world.
Veteran voices in the sport have repeatedly pointed out that while Paul brings massive attention and money to boxing, his matchups often avoid real competitive danger, fueling suspicions that outcomes are designed to protect the brand rather than test genuine skill. As these doubts pile up, each new controversy doesn't appear in isolation. Instead, it reinforces a growing narrative that Jake Paul's boxing journey has been built on optics, leverage, and control rather than the unpredictable brutality that defines the sport.
If the Jake Paul fight was set up.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. If I say, Rampage, I'm going to pay you $2 million, right? Let this dude beat you, what you going to do? You're going to feel disrespected, number one. Right? That ain't enough money. For me to do that, I got to be willing to walk away for good. Something like 20-something million where I can invest in it and fall off into shape.
In the past, the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul drew attention for its intensity and drama. Rumors of a leaked script suggesting the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was pre-planned caused a frenzy online. Alleged audio recordings appear to back claims that the fight's dramatic moments, including Tyson's supposed fatigue leading to Paul's knockout win, were staged.
Graduate in the United States is $1.3 million. Again, that's over the course of the person's entire life. Jake Paul earned 30 times that in one night. People talk about winners and losers, like Jake Paul won.
Following his victory over Mike Tyson, Jake Paul expressed his thoughts on his performance in the ring. Speaking confidently about the fight, Paul remarked, "I didn't get much punched or hurt." This statement underscored his belief that he had dominated the match with little resistance. Many of Paul's fans celebrated his remarks, seeing them as proof of his skill and readiness to take on even legendary opponents. However, critics were quick to point out the lack of drama and danger in the fight, arguing that Tyson's performance was lackluster and questioning whether the bout was a fair contest.
Big as the Super Bowl. Big as the what?
Why was Mike wearing assless chaps though? In the
Did that moment go viral with his cheeks out?
I don't know. It made my stomach hurt. Though.
I was seeing it.
Why didn't he
while
have
I was
underwear
ringside. He had a G-string on, is what he had.
Almost.
I thought he was completely butt naked.
Nah, he looked like a stripper.
But yeah, biggest live gate, 18.1 millions in U.S. boxing history outside of Las Vegas. A phenomenal night. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out, though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. It was
really
crazy
sorry.
when we talked about this. I told him you were going to say some dumb shit. You did the right thing at the end.
The recent fight against Anthony Joshua is no different. Many commentators have described the pairing as absurd, noting the stark difference in experience, size, and pedigree between Paul and Joshua, with some labeling the event more spectacle than sport. A YouTuber turned boxer with a 12-1 record stepping into the ring, with a former two-time world heavyweight champion who has fought elite competition throughout his career. Many commentators have described the pairing as lopsided, with Paul seen by some as a cash-grab opponent rather than a valid challenge, further feeding speculation that the event is more spectacle than sport.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the bar knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then got done. And he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
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 How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over when he